Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. If you like The Mike Wagner Show and you want to make your own podcast, well, let me tell you about Anchor. First of all, it's free. Secondly, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. You can also add any song from Spotify directly to your episodes. The possibilities are endless. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. This edition of The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. It's time to give a shout out to our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, then you'll love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries with 2 strangers and 1 target where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available in paperback and ebook on Amazon. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and is even loved by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Order Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, now available at Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, let's give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mian Mohsen Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mian Mohsen Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mian Mohsen Zia, available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is a key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at a wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift for remembrance makes you laugh and cry at the same time? Whatever gift for Grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears will just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit PictureThisPhotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com or 30 podcast platforms, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and more. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, 24/7, 365 for your family, friends, and loved ones, go to Amazon.com and check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, makes great gifts 24/7, 365. And also check out the Me and Molson Zia store on Amazon for great books, great merchandise. And of course, great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Amazon.com/Me and Molson Zia. Check it out today. Also support us on Anchor FM as well as PayPal and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you give generously today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's a native New York City entertainer, actor, national voiceover talent, and he's also, he's done a lot of our commercials, for cars, shampoo, albums, drinks, and everything else. A high-profile show in New York City. You've heard him back in the days on KTU and KBW in the disco era, and of course, he's appeared in 72 episodes as a series regular on a Fox drama, and he has a significant watch collection, and he's wearing one right now proudly. And he was also scouted by a Major League Baseball team at 14, and of course, a big Yankee fan. But most importantly, he also was one of the announcers on Rocky IV. And the big news is we're going to talk about that first. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New York City, the amazing, multi-talented entertainer, actor, voiceover talent, and he's the Rocky Balboa of New York City, Al Bandiero. Al, good morning, good afternoon.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy? How are you?
You've done a good Rocky impersonation. Roy Adrian!
Yeah, I've heard a few of those in my life.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So you've been in New York for quite some time. You're an entertainer, actor, national voiceover talent. You've been on a number of commercials. You had a high-profile show in New York City on KBW and KTW back in the 70s and 80s, and just totally amazing. You appear in 72 episodes on a Fox TV series as a series regular, and you also have a significant watch collection, and you were scouted by a Major League Baseball team at 14, a huge Yankee fan, but most importantly, you've been in Rocky IV, and the big reason, we'll get to that in just a minute. But first of all, Al, tell us how you first got started.
I'm sorry?
Tell us how you first got started.
Okay, in what? As far as radio is concerned?
Go back to the Wayback Machine. It's like, how you first got started. It can be radio or whatever you got started, too. It can be baseball.
Well, radio bug hit me because I always loved rock and roll, always. And I heard it. I'm the youngest of four. So growing up, as you well know, in different stages of your life, you're hearing music that your older siblings are listening to. And then you're hearing music that your parents are listening to. So it's forced listenership where you might not like it, but you keep hearing it. So it's in the back of your head. Oh, I know that song. I know that song. So then when you're old enough to start appreciating music and the bands you're appreciating, I enjoyed rock. Always enjoyed rock, which is now called classic rock. But I enjoyed that first. There was something about music that who doesn't love music? It was, and with so many different genres playing in my home, it depended. Like on Sunday morning in an Italian household, you'd wake up to the sauce being cooked and Sinatra was on. Or if you'd walk around during the week and come home, my older brother or sisters were listening to their rock and roll. So music was very important in the house. And as I said, you got samples from different stages of your life. So baseball was really my true love. And as you just mentioned, I had gone down to Arkansas, which was the deep south for a Brooklyn boy, to visit cousins down there. And we all loved baseball. So they asked me to join this local team in Arkansas, Marion, Arkansas, right outside. And I did. In this one particular summer that I was down there, one of the pitchers didn't show up. So the manager said, "Can you pitch?" And I said, "Yeah." Mostly I was playing the outfield. So we were playing like 18 or 19-year-olds. And as you know, when you're 14 and you're playing somebody 18, 19 years old, you're going to get killed. This is not even a game. So I just had a lot of luck that day that I struck out a lot of people and actually won the game. I got lucky that day. So there was a St. Louis Cardinal scout. I didn't know he was there in the stands, and he approached me afterwards. And I guess he thought because we were playing 18 and 19-year-olds that that's what we were, the team that I was on. So he had expressed interest in wanting me to join the Cardinals, and then took out his paper and started writing things down. And what he said was, "How old are you?" And I told him to write, and he stopped writing, and he went, 14. He said, "No, you're too young. If you come back next year and the year after, we can do something." So apparently, I think I went down the next year or maybe the year after. I don't remember, but it wasn't 2 years in a row. So that's where that scout came to me. And then from then, I just continued to play ball until one day in shop, out of nowhere, our task was to build a radio from scratch.
Wow.
And we did. And when those two wires connected and the speaker went on, the music went on, there was just something that said, wow, this is what I like to do. I love music, and I can get to introduce music and intro it and outro it and all that stuff. And I just stopped baseball, always loved it, but just stopped that and went into to pursue radio. And went into these, as you well know, these very dinky small towns that the cows and the chickens are maybe listening to you, and you have to get you got to get the experience. The negative about coming from New York was it's the number one market in the world. So at that time, you had to work your way up the ranks to get to a certain level. So your markets had to become bigger and bigger and bigger when you were ready. Today, from what I understand, it's a very different story. But then you had to come up through single A baseball, double A. I equate it to the same thing. Mm-hmm. And then my big break was when I made it to Philadelphia, which was at that time was number 4. Absolutely great town. Loved the city. And the great thing about it, it was only 90 miles from New York City. So you would jump on the New Jersey Turnpike, and in an hour and a half, you were in another major market.
Wow.
So, and I just had my goal set on coming home to be the hometown guy, and you worked hard at it. And, I made my phone calls to people that were my mentors to critique my tapes. And I would just eat it, sleep it, and drink it until I made it to New York. And then once I made it home, this is where I was going to stay. And the luck of the draw is that I was able to stay here. And then from that, it branched over into television, of doing music shows on television. So that's why I was hired. And I did a number of those. And then it started to go from there into doing voiceovers. And I would, go into an audition. As you well know, these auditions are every day. And you go in with many other guys that are reading the same copy. And most of the time, you don't get it. But when you do and you're on a roll, and I remember my very first audition, when I walked in, there were these two sitting next to each other, these two iconic voiceover guys that lived in New York. I mean, they were on everything nationally. And I opened the door, and I remember saying to myself, oh my God, what am I doing here? I don't have a shot in hell, man. But, my attitude was, well, take the copy, sit down, you're here, you might as well go in. And make a long story short, I wound up booking it.
Really?
Yeah, that was like, when I got the call from my agent, I said, are you sure? And he started laughing. He said, of course I'm sure. And I said, do you know the two guys that were in that room? And he said, yeah, I know. Just, keep going, man, keep going. So that's how the voiceovers started. And then little by little, I just started to expand more and more and more until I broke for your audience. When you say that you broke a record, you're first in your market to play a particular song that goes on to be a hit. So when you get something broke in New York, it's the biggest market, so everybody else is going to follow. Mm-hmm. So if you remember, there was a sequel to Saturday Night Fever called Staying Alive. Mm-hmm. And it was the story of where John Travolta's character left Brooklyn, moves into Manhattan to pursue a dancing career, to leave the old neighborhood behind, and he outgrows a lot of his friends and goes into Manhattan. Well, Sly directed that movie, and there was a soundtrack that came out, And the program director walked in while I was on the air one day and said, "Hey, there's a new album out. Listen to the album while you're on the air. Tell me what you like. If you like a particular track, play it." Because in those days,
wow.
Yeah. So it was pretty free form on the station that I was on. And it was an incredibly powerful radio station. It had the highest ratings of any station in the country for this period of time. So it was a 13 share. Now, for your audiences, that means that's the percentage of people in your area, in your city, listening to that one particular station. So when you're talking about, 10 million people, you have a 13 share of that market. That's huge. That's actually more than most cities have as population. So I listened to it in queue, and this one particular song that was called "Far From Over" was by his Sly's brother Frank.
Oh, yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. So I broke it, and it went on to be a hit. And he came around on a promotional tour and found out that I broke it, and we just hit it off. So one of the trips in, he said, "Hey, Sly's looking for, a pretty big apartment in New York, penthouse." And Frank was in my apartment. He said, "Are there any penthouses in your building?" And I said, "Yeah." So I made a couple phone calls to the front desk, and there was one for sale. And that's how I met Sly. So I brought him into the building, brought him up. And the funny part about it was he didn't take it because it was too small.
Really?
It was a penthouse, but it was, I guess, too small for him. And I remember saying, "God bless you, man, if this is too small." And we hit it off as well. So when he would come in from Los Angeles, he would call me and we would go hang out. And I would go out to LA and we would get together at certain times. But this one time when he came into New York, I said to him, "Hey, if there's ever anything you could do," thinking, "Yeah, sure. Let me know." And in one of his trips, he came in and we went out and he said, "Look, I'm going to do Rocky IV and I'd like to have you be the ring commentator calling the fight, you and another guy." So that's how it started to progress. He gave me a major shot, and to this day, I've been very grateful to him.
And that's amazing, too. We'll talk more about Rocky IV, and you've got something special to announce as well regarding Rocky IV. We'll talk about just 1 minute, but first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, let's give an official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is an illusion and those you love be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Hollywood celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today before it goes missing by Mia Molson-Zia. Available on Amazon. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is a key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at a wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs, huh? Well, the holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift for remembrance? Makes you laugh and cry at the same time. Whatever gift for Grandma's recipes or just because, those smiles and tears will just melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw, Picture This Photo Books at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethissphotobooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books. Bring your memories back to life. The whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show on over 30 podcast platforms and themikewagnershow.com. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today for great gift ideas. Go to Amazon.com and check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, including Mia Molson-Zia's great books, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mia Molson-Zia store. Also, support us on Anchor FM and PayPal and TheMikeWagnerShow.com. Make sure you donate generously today. We're here with the multi-talented New York City entertainer, actor, national voiceover artist, and a lot more. Al Bandiero here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we talk about Rocky IV, and you have a special presentation as well too. I was going to ask you a question about the first voiceover spot you did. Do you remember what ad was that for?
Yeah, it was for a shampoo that I did the voiceover for. And hey, some days you get lucky. And Cindy Crawford was the model, and she was just shampooing her hair. I think it was called Flex and Go. It was
Flex and Go. I remember that. Wow.
Yeah. But probably the most famous was that for some reason people remember this. It was for Nestea iced tea. And this, if you remember this commercial, this rickety bus stops in the middle of a desert.
I remember. Mm-hmm.
And people get off the bus, and the driver makes a square in the sand. And as he falls back into it, it becomes a pool.
Oh, I remember now. Yes. Oh, my gosh.
So before they get out, they turn the radio on. And when they turn the radio on, it's my voice telling them how hot and what the temperature is going to be that day. And we happen to hit an incredible heat wave all over the country that summer. So that thing ran from 6 o'clock in the morning until midnight everywhere. And again, it's the luck of the draw. You walk in that day, as opposed to days that you can't buy it. If you just can't. And then there are days that you walk in and, you land something. But that's probably out of all the commercials that I've done, the most that people remember was the Nestea iced tea commercial falling in the sand that turned into a pool.
You know something? You're making me so thirsty for some iced tea. I got to finish off my coffee, and I got to go get some more. Thank you for telling me how some Nest tea. It's like, you're amazing. And I got a shampoo after this too. But most importantly, we'll be talking about your latest extension with Rocky IV. That I've seen it. It was a great movie. I love the storyline to it, and of course, everybody knows about Rocky knocking out Drago, which played by Dolph Lundgren, and
right.
Of course, great franchise to it too. I remember Rocky I there daring me to here, drink those eggs, 6th grade and everything. I'm dating myself, but the best part was I love that James Brown song, "Living in America."
Love it.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, well, we were talking about the soundtrack before. That movie had a really terrific soundtrack. James Brown, "Living in America." Robert Tepper did a really driving No Easy Way Out. So there was a little bit of something for everybody on that album. And we were talking about it before. There's not a lot of movies that do soundtracks anymore that drive the music. And the music in all of the Rocky movies, kudos to them as well. There was always this element where the music was just as important in certain scenes as to what was going on. Gonna Fly, all of the classics that came out of that. And that one particular for Rocky IV with the Americans versus the Russians, Living in America was a huge hit.
Mm-hmm. And I was hoping it would go to number one, and James Brown was still the only guy who had so many hit singles, never hit number one. I think he hit number two. What was it? Cold Sweat, and Living in America thing ended up number 3 or 4 that year overall.
Yeah, it was huge. And when it's still played today, sometimes you'll pass a car and they've got it cranked up. It was just it's about America, and then you have this iconic character of Rocky Balboa. So it meshed very well.
Mm-hmm. And certainly did as well, too. And you also have a brand new extension of it. And you're here to announce the big news about the extended version or the director's cut of Rocky IV. And tell us all about that. I know you're excited.
What Sly went in, supposedly he wanted to do this for years. He wanted to recut Rocky IV and take out some things that he wasn't really crazy about, and maybe add a little bit more or extend a few of the scenes. One of the things that I know that he's not going to have in this one, if you remember in original Rocky IV, there's a robot during Paulie's birthday party.
Oh, yes. I remember that. It looks like a giant bug or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to me, it looked like a giant fly made of metal.
I was trying to think how it was described. It's like, Holly, would you like some tea, please? And I thought,
yeah, exactly.
How do I describe it?
I believe that's gone. That's gone. And in the trailer that I was able to see, there's a part of the character when Rocky leaves to go to Russia to fight Drago. He has more of a deeper heart-to-heart talk with his son as to why he has to go and why he has to do this, and really telling his son that, some things, sometimes you have to do things that no one else understands, but it's something that you have to do. So I know that is now in the film where it's just a deeper one-on-one. There's another part of the film that's put in there that, if you remember, Apollo really wants to fight Drago first. And he puts a lot of pressure on Rocky to let him have this first fight before Rocky does. And that scene now is also a little heavier of, don't do this. Don't put this pressure on me that I have to, sit there and watch you go through this. And we ultimately know what happened to him because he wanted this fight. Right. So I haven't seen everything, but those are the, so this is a little bit, this cut, which is called Rocky versus Drago, the director's cut, be released on November 11th, all over the country, is a little bit deeper and a little bit more intense than the original cut was. But the biggest thing is it's all done with today's technology, which is going to be a blast to walk into the movie theater and hear today's sound technology in 2021. I'm sure it's going to be crisp as anything up on the screen. So it's going to be a completely different experience walking into the theater. I'm excited for it.
And I'm very excited too. And as I say, you got to watch for it. You got to watch.
I got to watch. I always have to watch.
That's right. And that's an amazing watch you got right there. And you got, I I wish I could collect and tell us all about that watch.
This is just like, I love watches. Watches to me it's a statement. And the quick story of what really got me hooked is my ex-wife, when she lived in Philadelphia, so we would go back and forth New York to Philadelphia, and her grandmother, we called her Nana, would press my shirts early in the morning and send me out into the world.
Nice.
To go to work. And one day she looked down at my shoes and looked at my watch. She said to me out of nowhere, remember, a woman can always tell the kind of man you are by your shoes and your watch.
Really?
So I just froze for that second and went, wow, that's interesting. Okay. And, you're a young guy at that point, and you're like, wow, okay, that was a lesson that day. So from that point on, I just got hooked on watches, on really noticing watches, that it just wasn't something to tell time, which is what a lot of people think. Yeah, put a watch on, whatever. But a watch tells you about your personality. And then Nana's always in the back of my head going, remember, a woman can tell you by your watch. That never went away. So I started the collection. Once you start making a little bit more money in your career, I bought one watch, my first watch, then I bought a second one, then I bought a third, and it went up to many of them. And every time that I buy one, or one is bought for me, my wife always buys one for me for at least my Christmas or my birthday. So she kind of knows my taste. And she's really piled them up.
Oh my gosh.
Over time. Yeah. So I don't sell them. It's just, they mean something to me, whether I buy it or it's a gift. And a watch to me is like, it could be expensive or couldn't be that much expensive. It's just, it says something. It's about, wow, I like that. It's something that for me, for a watch, I look at it instantly and I like it or I don't. If I sit there and go, I don't know, then it's not for me. It's either you like it or you don't.
Exactly. I was just going to get to that point. And tell us about the first watch you bought.
The first watch I bought, I figured if we're going to do it right. First watch I bought, I saved when my career started moving a little bit, was a Rolex.
Oh, nice.
I walked into this jewelry store and told them I want to buy my first Rolex. And it was silver with a blue face, simple, but it was a Rolex in it. It's been around forever that I had. That was the first one. And knowing that, well, if you're going to make a move, make a move. The negative thing about being a watch lover is the moment someone shakes my hand, I look at their watch.
Oh, okay.
Not as a critique, but to say, hey, what is she wearing or what is he wearing? So that's never left me. That or if people are at a table with us, I look at the watches only because of what Nana at one time said. So it just fried into my brain.
That's rather interesting. And let me ask you this: what watches did Sly Stallone wear back in the day?
He had watches when we started hanging out that I had not even heard of. This was a completely different level. And a couple of times when he was into New York, we went into these private watch stores, and 50 grand was nothing, to spend on a watch. The great thing about it was he let me hang out with him, and it inspired me to want to do things even more than what I was doing. And it just, you have a goal in your mind and you just keep going and going and going until you get there. So that was one of the many positive things of being around him. There were watches, as I said, I didn't even know existed, but when he took them out and he would have them on, or they would take it out of the case, it was wow. It was, at that time, it was the price of a Mercedes that he was wearing on his wrist. So that stuff was just very cool to be around and watch.
And not just movie stars and great people like yourself, baseball players also wear watches, especially from the Yankees. It's like they gotta have like a watch competition out there. So.
Yeah, there are some people that, don't wear them because they have this, they have the phone. But as you get educated in watches, there are more and more and more people that collect watches or love watches. And then you start going online and seeing these watch collectors and what's available and how much you can get. And then you can get watches that maybe you can't get in a store privately through out of town places. It's huge, the watch industry. Huge.
And that's very amazing too. And when can we watch for Rocky IV to come out, the director's cut?
So Rocky IV comes out on November 11th, all over the country. Depending on what area you're in, just check your, as they say, local listings.
I remember that. Check your local listings or go to your TV guide. Yeah, TV guide.
So it's going to be, especially with COVID that had finished. Well, when I say finished, we're not at the point that we once were, and theaters are at least opening again. We went to, for the first time, maybe in a year and a half, about 2 weeks ago, my wife and I went to see the new James Bond movie. And, the people weren't sitting next to each other. There were spaces, to keep the social distancing. But it was good to go back into a theater. And I think now hopefully by November 11th, it'll be even better to go see. But as I said, we're thrilled from the fact that we're going to watch this movie that was shot years ago with today's technology. I can't wait to see it.
And that's so amazing as well, Tim. What's coming up in the future for Al Bandiero and more? We'll find out just 1 minute. Listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by our official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. And brought to you by Picture This Photo Books. Remembering is the key ingredient. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com. We'll be back with the amazing, multi-talented Al Bandiero from Rocky IV after this timeout.
This edition of the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Picture This Photo Books, where remembering is the key ingredient. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. And who doesn't miss Grandma's meatballs? The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whatever gift of Grandma's recipes, or just because, those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809 or visit picturethisphotoBooks.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Picture This Photo Books, bringing your memories back to life. They're whimsical, casual, or formal, and always uniquely you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers. And if there's one thing you can count on in these unpredictable times, it's that you're in good hands getting some great radio, courtesy of The Mike Wagner Show.
We're back with New York City entertainer, the amazing actor, voiceover talent, and he's also been in Rocky IV on the Mike Wagner Show, Al Bandiero. And before we talk about what's coming up in the future for you, we forgot to mention you also been in a series on Fox as well, 72 episodes as a regular. And tell us more about that since we're in the TV.
Well, that was my first TV series that I did. I was living in Los Angeles at that time. And there's always a story with me of how things happen. And, you know, a lot of times I just like to go in and do it and go home. And then you put through some loops when you're trying to make it as an actor, especially after coming from the radio and television side in New York. And then I moved out to Los Angeles. And when I went in to audition for this role, the audition went well. But at the end of the audition, the casting director said to me, I'm going to tell the producers to see you again, but I just want you to know they want an older man playing this role. So I figured, okay, well, thank you very much for bringing me in. I'm glad you liked what I did. And she said to me, you know, before you leave, I'm going to show you. And she wrote on the picture, you have to see this guy. So apparently they took her word for it. And I kept going back and going back and going back, another call. And I think it was something like 12 callbacks later.
Wow.
I went into audition for the network. And that's the final, audition. That's where you're going to get booked or you're not going to get booked. And they discussed it and said, well, we wanted to make the character older, but why don't we just have a younger guy doing it that he did what he did with this woman. She had 2 kids and he took off because he was too young. So that's how they put this character together rather than the older character. So I played the guy that was just didn't want to be involved with this. And the character moves out from New Jersey to Los Angeles to run a restaurant. And out of nowhere, my 2 sons come out of nowhere. I haven't seen them since they were kids. They're now grown. And they both at the same time fall in love with the same woman. The woman has to be the owner's daughter.
Ooh. So
that was like, hey, I can't lose this gig, man. This is a good gig. and that's how it started. And so it was my first TV series. It taught me a lot. Fox cleared it in, I think it was 98% of this country and then 52 countries around the world.
Wow. That is an amazing start to your TV and acting career. And we talked about Rocky IV, and you're looking forward to the director's cut coming out November 11th. And what else can we expect from you in the future, Al?
Well, we have my wife and I have a production company. She's a writer. She writes films and some TV as well. So right now we're running with a movie that we raised the money for through investors. So we're going to get this thing shot, put it up on the screen, and that will be a major thrill for us because we have several in our production company. And this one we're running with right now is a great story also about an underdog. He's not a boxer, though. He makes a living in a different way, but he's an underdog that stands his ground on being morally right, where the others go south just to get money under the table. So we have people involved with it already, and we're out there raising the financing for it. So it's called Blue Betrayal, and that's what we're going to shoot for to get this thing done.
And that's so amazing. Make sure you keep us up to date with that, Al. I'm so looking forward to it. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Who?
Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Well, I guess obviously it would, for obvious reasons, it would be Sylvester Stallone. Just from the fact of he was kind enough to take me under his wing, teach me things that I didn't know at the time. Probably maybe wasn't even ready at that time. But it was just this dance of this is what you do. And he never said, I don't have time for you. It wasn't, but the trade was my parents always raised me that if somebody gives you a break somehow, you give them 110%. You don't mail it in. So when he gave me the shot, even before, and we would hang out and he would give me advice, it was just, I mean, think about it. It's the biggest movie star in the world that just happens to take a liking to you for some reason. So how do you not respect that and just be a sponge and take in everything that you can from this guy?
Oh, that's so amazing. I love to learn from a guy and say, yo, Adrian!
Don't make him any better, right?
Exactly. Yes, that's still a classic. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
An advice I live with every day. And it's simple. Whatever it is in life that you want, just keep going. Don't stop. And it might take you a week. It might take you 10 years, whatever it is. If you believe in your heart that I can do this, whatever this is, don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Just go. And it will happen if you believe and do what you're supposed to do to get better at whatever it is you want to do.
And that's so amazing. Very inspirational. Once again, we're with the New York City entertainer, actor, radio talent, voiceover guy. He was in Rocky IV, Al Bandiero on the Mike Wagner Show. Al, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your works?
Well, thank you very much, Mike. You got a great show, and I appreciate you having me on as a guest. Thank you.
Okay. And once again, your website, and tell people where can they see Rocky IV and everything else.
Yeah, it's easy. Just look on Facebook. When I'm on Facebook or Instagram, I tell people, what we're doing and how close we're coming and all the information that if I get another little sneak information about Rocky IV, the recut, I'll put it on there for everybody.
We certainly will do so. Once again, Al, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Looking forward to having you soon. Make sure you keep us up to date, keep in touch, and looking forward to having you in soon. And we definitely wish you all the best.
Thank you, Mike.
Picture this photo books, where remembering is the key ingredient. Preserving memories, keeping the memories of your loved ones alive as they reach in and touch your heart. How beautiful your mother looked at her wedding, and even more so at yours. The holidays are coming. What better time to give a gift of remembrance that makes you laugh and cry all at the same time? Whether it's a gift of past holidays, grandma's recipes, long ago moments, or just because. Those smiles and tears will melt your heart. Call Karen Shaw at 646-798-0809. Once again, that's 646-798-0809. 798-0809 or visit picturethisphotobooks.com.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley and I'm an American actress and a TV host, and I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamoshenzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.